Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Total QA. Today, as part of Xpath complete tutorial series, we are going to discuss about Xpath part 2. The tutorial part 1 and prerequisites are already completed. The description of these two video links will be available in the Xpath tutorial part 2 description video. Now, we are going to discuss about the functions as part of the part 2, the functions which are available in Xpath, which helps us in identifying the web elements in Selenium. If we look at functions, there are totally functions such as last function, position function, starts with function, contains function, text function, normalize-space function. So for all these functions, I will list down the examples and show you on a real-time website, which will be helpful for us to understand these functions. Let's start with last function. So to understand the last function, let's go back to our website. So if you look at in our website, there are totally 4 checkboxes which are available. And try to understand each and every checkbox. Checkbox 1, checkbox 2, checkbox 3, checkbox 4. For all the 4 checkboxes, we see the name is same. Name is equal to chk, name is equal to chk, name is equal to chk, name is equal to chk. And all these checkboxes are having type same. Type, 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 type. So all these checkboxes are having the same type, same name. Suppose for example, if we are interested to select JMeter, so what we can do, we even give / input @name equal to chk. What will happen? chk. What will happen here in this scenario? You get totally 4 elements which are matching here, right? You see here 4th one which is matching here, but it is JMeter. So we need to focus only on the JMeter one to select the checkbox, which is the last one in the input elements which are having name is equal to chk. JMeter is the last one in the input elements which are having the attribute name equal to chk. So in that case, I will put the function name as last here to select the last checkbox. So if you try to provide / input @name is equal to chk, and within the square brackets, if you put the function, it will select the last in the list. The list can be 4, 5, 6, 7, but last function always selects the last one in the list. Suppose for example, if you would like to select last but one, last -1, it selects load runner. If you see here, it is selecting load runner here. Similarly, last -2, it is selecting QTP. Similarly, last -3 selects Selenium. So you can try to provide the number, the index as well from the last, then it will select accordingly. But if you wanted to select the last one, it is last function in the list. So let's try to take this example. Try to keep it in the notepad for reference. Okay. And also, if you wanted to select the last one in the list, thread name is equal to chk. And give here last function. So I'll mention to select last matching element in the list having same attributes. Okay, so coming to next function, position function. Let's take this position function. Let's go back to our example again. Let's try to start from the beginning. Try to provide name is equal to chk. We get totally 4 matching nodes. Now, in these 4 matching nodes, suppose for example, if you look at the first checkbox is having index 1. See, it is highlighting Selenium. You have to focus here. It is highlighting Selenium. Do you see here? It is highlighting Selenium, right? Similarly, suppose for example, if I am giving the index x2, it is selecting QTP. You can check here. Suppose if you are giving the index as 3, it is selecting load runner. Suppose we are giving the 4, it is selecting JMeter. So the index starts from 1 in Xpath, not like 0. Usually we always start the index 0 in Java, mainly if you try to create an array and trying to access the first element in array, especially we try to provide index as 0, but in Xpath the index starts with 1. So if you look at 4 checkboxes which are having same name, we are trying to provide 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, we can try to use the function position function to denote the index. Position equal to 1, which selects the first one. It is selecting Selenium. You can check, it is highlighted as well. Right? Similarly, QTP. Let me try to put position is equal to 2. Then 3 is highlighting load runner. You can check here. Right? Then similarly, it is highlighting 4. Selecting JMeter. Do you see here? So the position will help you to select the element based on the index value. So we will try to provide the same information here. So it helps to select the elements, matching elements based on the index value. Okay, so next one is starts with function. Let's take the starts with function. Suppose for example, let's go back to our login application where you have username, password, login, reset. You can see there is a placeholder, enter username. Suppose if you wanted to select this text box based upon the enter username, but let's try to find out. Let me try to give inspect. What is a placeholder? This is denoted using a placeholder. There is an attribute to denote the placeholder for an element, that is, if you look at here, placeholder enter username. Enter username. The placeholder is having enter username. Suppose starts with will be applicable for the attributes. The attribute can be ID, name, type, class name, or placeholder. Any attribute you can apply starts with. I'll show you some basic example for starts with before going to another example. Okay, let me put this Docker in the bottom, the dockside bottom, then it will be easier also to understand this. Okay, so let me try to give the placeholder and try to apply the starts with function. Here you can look out, right? The placeholder is enter username. So let me start now. / input @ starts with. Okay. The attribute name placeholder, comma, enter. So we'll give the attribute and give the starts with value here. So here we are not getting any result now. What might be the reason? In the case of Xpath, whenever we identify any attribute, that should start with @ symbol. So try to provide @ symbol. So this is our attribute. Now we are getting 2 matching elements. So I can apply starts with for any attribute, placeholder, name, type, class, any attribute, but we have to mention what is the string. The attribute value that is static especially starts with is useful for elements which are having attribute values are dynamic in nature. Dynamic in the sense means a part of the value, the attribute value is static, a part of the attribute value is dynamic, then you can focus only on the attribute value which is static and try to provide starts with. See here we are getting two matching nodes. Why? Because the placeholder for username is enter username, the placeholder for password is enter password. So that's the reason what will happen, you get two matching nodes mainly. See here, this is one matching node, the enter password. Similarly the enter username is one more matching element. So starts with is a function applicable for any attribute. You just need to mention a part of it which is static or which is static. That will be helpful for us to identify the elements. So now we copy this and put it here. To select the matching attribute value which is okay. Now, if you want, you can apply this start with function for any other attribute. Just for understanding, let's take class. I have seen a class. Class is equal to text box color padding, and also it is important to understand, especially for the class, we can apply multiple values separated by a space. This we call as compound classes. We will discuss in a separate video what is CSS, how do we identify compound classes, or how do we design the compound classes. We will discuss separately, but as of now if you focus here, this is a class which is having two values separated by spaces. I can do one thing, I can just fix one value. Let me try to put class here, the attribute name. Okay, then I see here text box color. Let me take text box color as a starts with here. One second, I will copy this. Always it is a good practice to copy in Xpath so that we will avoid any mistakes. See, we are here also we're getting two matching nodes. Why? Because this class is equal to this class is applied for this input element, this class is applied for this input element. Here the class is text box color to 1, here it is text box color. So it will match all the input elements which are having class is equal to text box color that starts with. Okay, so this example also I'm just keeping it here. Now let's go back to the function contains function. Before getting into contains function, let's start with text function. That will be helpful. Okay, so to understand text function, let's try to take this hyperlinks into consideration. So these are all called as hyperlinks, especially when you click on these links, it will navigate to the new web page, or it will try to open the new page in the same window. So hyperlinks will help us to navigate to new pages or a page within the same window. Let's try to understand the properties of these hyperlinks. So if you look at the text that is getting displayed between the strong is mainly for bold. If you look at here the tag name strong, it is used when if you wanted to display the text in a bold, you have to put strong. Okay, start strong and end strong in between. If you put this text, it will display in bold, but finally if you look at this is a hyperlink. How do we know? It is in between anchor tags A and end A. Okay, so let's try to understand how do we select this element using this text. So I see the tag name as strong here. Let me copy this text also. / strong. So in between the tag names, the text is text equal to is a function which takes the text. Okay, let me copy this text. We will provide this text here and just put here enter. So we're getting one matching node. So strong square brackets, the text function equal to the exact text, which will be helpful for us to identify this element. Okay, so let me copy this here. So text function is always useful to select the element based upon the text displayed between the tag names. So it will be text to select the elements which are having the text in between the tag name. Right? Now, if you look at this, looks little lengthy text. Can I make it shorter? Can I just focus only on Selenium only? Right? Yes, it is possible using contains function. Let me take contains function here. So I don't change anything. I just put here before text. I just type contains. Contains is a function which will take two parameters. I'm putting function here. Right? See here, contains. In the contains function, it will take two parameters. One is a text parameter, text comma. You can give any part of it. I don't give everything, I just give part of it. You see here, contains takes two parameters. It's a parenthesis. Okay. In between the parentheses, first one is the function text comma, the part of the text which is Selenium. You can expand and see also it is showing here. Right? Text and contains both are similar. It will be helpful for you to identify the element based upon the text that is getting displayed between the tag names. The next function, which is interesting function, which will be helpful for us to select the elements which are having some spaces in between the tag name. Let me show you that. If you look at here, the Java basics, right? It is in between the strong tag name. So let me try to apply the strong tag name. / strong here, text equal to. So let me copy this, right click, copy, put it here. So we're getting one matching node. Suppose, for example, it is difficult for us to provide these spaces in between the tag name, in between the text. So how do we avoid passing this text? Can we just trim the spaces between this value? Yes, it is possible. What we have to do is we have to ignore spaces while identifying this text using the function called normalize-space. Then remove the spaces here. You don't require spaces if you are using a normalized space function. You don't require spaces here. Just try to give the value. That is the benefit when you give normalized spaces. See here, what is the advantage of normalized space? Even the tag, in between the tag, the space is available. If you apply normalized space, the text equal to Java basics, and if you put normalized space, it will be helpful for us. See here, copy this, put it here. So to select the element of having spaces in between the tag name, you are ignoring the spaces. You don't want any space. So especially these functions, last function, the position function, the starts with function and contains function, especially text function, then contains function, then normalized space function. These functions will be helpful for us in Xpath to identify the web elements displayed in a web page. Okay, so I hope this is helpful for us to understand Xpath functions. Thank you for watching this video. If you like my video, subscribe and share with your friends.